One of the wonderful attractions you'll want to see while staying at Laguna Seca RV Park is the Point Pinos Lighthouse in Pacific Grove, just 15 minutes away. It was Spanish explorer Sebastian Vizcaíno in 1602 who came ashore and named the area La Punta de los Pinos, the Point of the Pines. Point Pinos Lighthouse was turned on in 1855. It was the second lighthouse built on the west coast right after Alcatraz and still continues in operation today. The lighthouse has been beautifully restored by volunteers in the city of Pacific Grove. It sits on well-manicured grounds overlooking the ocean surrounded by the Pacific Grove Golf Course. Point Pinos Lighthouse is full of romantic stories. Originally, the light was fueled by whale oil, which required the lighthouse keeper to climb the stairs several times a night to keep it going. In those days, Point Pinos Lighthouse was on a very remote point, some 3 miles away from the ships at Monterey Bay. Bringing supplies, including whale oil from the ships, required a trek through dense woods and sand dunes up the hill. In those days, the forest was dotted with grizzly bear and cougars as well, making it a very dangerous trip. In 1875, lighthouse keeper Alan Luce built a trail that became a road up to the lighthouse from the Monterey Bay. That trail continues to expand and is today Lighthouse Avenue. Another house was built and the Methodists came in with their church camp, and eventually Pacific Grove was born and built around the lighthouse. Robert Louis Stevenson visited the lighthouse on more than one occasion and became friends with Luce and wrote about the lighthouse in his book From Scotland to Silverado. One woman named Emily Fish became the lighthouse keeper in 1893 and continued to operate it until 1914. Ms. Fish was very popular and famous for parties at the lighthouse. Today, the furnishings of the lighthouse have been restored to the time of Emily Fish. You can visit the lighthouse from Thursday through Monday from 1 to 4 p.m. Cost is just a $2 contribution to keep the lighthouse going. The lighthouse itself is still being maintained by the Coast Guard. Some of the duties have been replaced by GPS, but it is still an important guidance for ships at sea. Coming soon, a hostel.
We are a working light today, just like we've been a working light every day since February 1, 1855. We don't intend to turn the light out anytime soon. Awesome. Strictly speaking, we've only once ever gone dark for any extended period of time during World War II, when blackout rules were administered as part of the Department of Defense's coastal defense mechanism.
So it's the longest continually operating lighthouse in America, right?
On the West Coast.
Oh, only on the West Coast.
So if you talk east, you're going to find older products. We do have a list, if you're interested, of all the states and how many lighthouses they have and how many are still open to the public. And here is a complete list on the back of all the California lights.
So this lighthouse began what year?
February 1, 1855.
1855. And is it still?
Only one preceded that, and it was the Alcatraz light. But famously, the Alcatraz light is not in continuous operation. So while we aren't the first built, we're the second built. We are the longest continually operating lighthouse of all lighthouses on the west coast of the United States. I am including Oregon and Washington and British Columbia and Alaska.
Right, and it still operates today. Is it important today?
If you look up there, you will probably be slightly challenged to see, but our signal characteristic is 4 seconds on, 1 second off. It's continually flashing, 4 on, 1 off. Yes, we are in service all the time.
Right.
In the basement, just like at the top of the tower is a secure room where the lens is located, so in the basement is a backup battery system to provide 3 weeks of backup power in the event of the power mains failure.
Wow.
I've been here a long time, and we don't think very highly of PG&E, but PG&E never made me wait 3 weeks for power. And to be very honest, if you look closely in the basement, you will see lead acid liquid batteries of probably 50 years age. I would be more worried about a fire from the lead acid than anything else you see here today.
Right.
But that is Coast Guard property, and there is a gate down there. We can't go there.
Is the lighthouse Coast Guard property now?
No, technically we're owned by the city and operated as a museum, but the Coast Guard reserves deeded legal right to the lens room and to the backup battery room.
And what were you talking about the hostel, that there is a hostel?
There's 3 small Coast Guard residences for enlisted men and women Coast Guard crew.
Where are those?
Right here on the outside of the gate to
Okay.
the left. Soon, and soon could be a year or two, let's be clear. I mean, I don't know of a date, a breakdown date, or a, shall we say, shovel in the ground date. But the next envisioned change here will be to convert the Coast Guard residences to an international hostel, with the revenue of the hostel going to Operation Lighthouse. Just like everyone's donations go to Operating Lighthouse.
There is more than one way to get from Laguna Seca RV Park to Point Pinos Lighthouse, but we believe the fastest way, generally speaking, depending upon the traffic, is to take 68 to Highway 1, take Highway 1 south, and pick up 68 west. Go through the forest, take a left on Sunset Drive, go a few blocks, and take a right on Asilomar Avenue, and that will take you right to the lighthouse.